Valentine's Day is supposed to be a night of love, a night of romance, dinner dates, flowers, and surprises. But some surprises are better left unopened. Every year, there are stories of people who go missing on Valentine's Day. Stories of stalkers turning aggressive. Stories of dates going horribly wrong. Stories of couples who never make it back home. Today, we're going to go through 3 scary Tiru Valentine's Day horror stories. Stories so disturbing that you might think twice before accepting a Valentine's date again. And if you enjoy horror stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Dark Vision, for more terrifying narration videos. Now, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and let's begin. Story 1. The gift that wasn't meant for me. My name is Caleb, and this happened 5 years ago on Valentine's Day. I was single at the time, fresh out of a breakup, not really talking to anyone, not seeing anyone. So the last thing I expected after coming home from work was to see a beautifully wrapped pink gift box placed neatly on my doorstep. There was no name, no message, just a red ribbon tied around it. Now, I'm not the kind of guy who receives gifts from strangers, and Valentine's Day felt like the worst day for someone to pull a prank on me. But curiosity won, like it always does. I took the box inside, placed it on my coffee table, and carefully unwrapped it. Inside was a small teddy bear holding a heart. A cute, simple Valentine's gift. But something was off. The fur of the teddy bear felt dirty, greasy, and when I turned it around, there was something stitched into its back with red thread. A date. June 19th, 14, June 14th. That was 4 months from now. I didn't understand it. Maybe someone messed up the stitching. Maybe it was nothing. For the rest of the evening, I kept thinking about who could have left it. My ex. No, she lived in a different city. My neighbors, they barely talked to me. I brushed it off and went to bed, but at 2:44 a.m., I woke up to a notification sound. Someone had sent me a message on Instagram. It was a username I had never seen before. For you only. The message read, "Do you like the bear?" No profile picture, no posts, no followers. I typed back, "Who are you?" The reply came instantly, "Do you like the bear? Yes or no?" My heart dropped a little. I responded, "Look, if this is a joke, stop." They replied, "Not a joke. The date is important. Don't throw it away." And then they stopped messaging. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I reported the account. But later that day, I received another gift. This time, the box was much smaller. A jewelry box. Inside was a silver necklace with a tiny pendant shaped like a heart. But this one also had something engraved. A number. 30. Just the number 30. No explanation. And sure enough, the same Instagram account messaged me again. Put it on. I blocked them, but another account messaged me seconds later. For you only 2. Put it on. Blocked again. Another account appeared. Only for you 3. 30 days left. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't someone being funny. Someone was watching me. Someone had been close enough to leave gifts at my door. Someone knew where I lived. I went to the police, but they didn't take it seriously. They told me, probably a jealous ex, probably some online troll. Just ignore it. Ignore it. How do you ignore someone watching your house? That night, I put the teddy bear and the necklace in a shoebox, sealed it, and shoved it under my bed. I didn't want to look at them again, but on the next morning, the shoebox was on my kitchen table. Opened, the teddy bear placed neatly beside the necklace, and the necklace had been placed in a perfectly shaped heart. Someone was inside my home. There's no feeling like realizing your safe space has been breached. The air in my house felt heavier, like the walls themselves were watching me. I immediately checked all doors and windows. No signs of forced entry. No fingerprints. Nothing stolen. Just the items moved. I slept with the lights on that night, and every night after. A week passed, and then another message came. This time, not from Instagram, from a random number, a picture message. It was a photograph of me, sleeping in my bed, taken from only a few feet away. I felt sick. My body froze. It was like all blood drained from my face. After a few minutes, another message came. June 1914. Don't forget the date. That same date stitched into the teddy bear. I felt like I was losing my mind. February eventually ended. March came. April passed. And I tried convincing myself it was all over. But on June 13th, the day before the mysterious date, I received one final gift, a large rectangular package on my doorstep, with a note. Tomorrow. I didn't want to open it, but my fear pushed me to. Inside was a picture frame, a photograph, a picture of me, sleeping, the same picture they had sent me earlier, but this one was printed, placed inside a shiny black frame. On the back, written in red ink, tomorrow you will sleep forever. I called the police again. This time I wasn't playing around. I begged them to stay with me. I showed them the gifts, the photos, the threats. They finally sent 2 officers to keep watch outside my house through the night. I didn't sleep at all. Midnight passed. 1 a.m. passed. 2 a.m. 3 a.m. Nothing happened. At around 4:20 a.m., the officers decided to do a sweep around the neighborhood. One officer stayed outside my door. The other walked around the block. The one who walked around the block didn't return. The officer with me stepped outside to call for him. He came back inside slowly. His face was pale. He told me to stay indoors, lock everything, and wait for backup, because the missing officer was found behind my house, unconscious, with a deep cut on the back of his head. He had been attacked. The attacker had been close, watching, waiting for me. The police searched the entire area, but they found no one. And then June 14th passed. Nothing else happened. No more gifts, no more messages, no more threats. The person, whoever they were, vanished, like they didn't exist. The police told me the attacker must have panicked after injuring the officer, but I don't think that's what happened. I think June 14th was supposed to be the day they killed me, and the police being there ruined their plan. To this day, I still don't know who it was. A stranger, someone from my past, someone who had been watching me for months. I moved to a different city after that. New place, new job, new life. But sometimes, when I'm walking home at night, I swear I hear footsteps behind me. I swear I feel someone watching me. And every Valentine's Day, without fail, I find a small pink teddy bear placed near my front door. No message, no ribbon, no threats, just the teddy bear. As if they're saying, I still remember the date. Story 2. The couple in the red car. My name is Lauren, and this happened when I was 26. It was Valentine's Day, and for the first time in a long time, I actually had plans. My boyfriend Adam wanted to take me on a late-night drive to this quiet hill outside our town, a place known for its beautiful view and privacy. A lot of couples went there, some for the view and some for the privacy. We weren't planning anything wild, just wanted a quiet night together, but we never expected another couple to show up that night, a couple that didn't feel quite human, and what happened with them still keeps me awake at night. We arrived at the hill at around 11:40 p.m. The place was quiet as usual. Just a few trees, a small guardrail, and a long drop on the other side into the forest. We parked near the edge, turned the engine off, and just sat there talking. It was peaceful. The kind of silence you only get when you're far away from the city. But then, after about 15 minutes, another car pulled up behind us. A red sedan, old model, peeling paint. No front license plate. It parked a little too close to us. Close enough that Adam muttered, "That's weird. There's a whole open area. Why park right behind us?" I watched the car in the side mirror. Both doors opened at the same time. A man stepped out from the driver's side. A woman stepped out from the passenger side. Both of them were tall. Strangely tall. Unnaturally tall for how thin they were. The woman was wearing a long red dress. The man had a black suit on, but no tie. Just a white shirt underneath. They stood beside their car, not moving, not walking, just standing there, staring in our direction. No talking, no touching, no smiling, just staring. I whispered, "Adam, what are they doing?" He leaned forward to get a better look. Probably another couple. Just ignore them. But they weren't acting like a couple. They weren't acting like people at all. After a few minutes, the woman slowly raised her hand, not waving, not signaling, just raising her arm with a stiff, unnatural motion and pointing right at our car, right at me. I felt something cold slide down my spine. Then the man took a few steps forward, and I swear, the way he moved didn't look normal. It wasn't a walk. It was more like a stiff glide, like every step was too smooth, too silent. No sound of gravel under his shoes, no breath, nothing. He stopped about 20 feet from our car. The woman stayed by their vehicle, still pointing directly at me, unmoving. And then the man spoke. But his voice, God, I will never forget that voice. It was calm, almost emotionless, like he had practiced speaking by listening to humans, but never understood emotion itself. He said, "Why are you here tonight?" Adam's hand tightened on the steering wheel. "Dude, back off. We're just sitting here." The man tilted his head, slowly, like a puppet being moved by strings. Then he said, "This place is not safe for you." He didn't blink, didn't move, didn't react, just stared at us like we were animals he was studying. The woman suddenly lowered her hand and began walking around the red car, but her movement was wrong. Her legs moved, but her head stayed perfectly still, locked in our direction. It looked like someone controlling a character with bad animation. Adam whispered, "I'm starting the car. We're leaving." He reached for the keys. But then, the man ran toward us. No warning, no build-up. One moment he was 20 feet away, the next, he was right beside Adam's window, and when he stopped, he didn't breathe, didn't pant, no sound of feet hitting the ground, just total silence. His face pressed close to the glass. His eyes, God, his eyes. They were too wide, too dark, too reflective. No emotion, no life, just bottomless emptiness. He said, "Do not leave." Adam panicked and tried turning the key, but the car didn't start. Not even a click. It was working 5 minutes earlier. He twisted it harder. Still nothing. The man leaned even closer to the glass and whispered, "You cannot leave until we are done." That's when the woman reached Adam's side of the car. Her head turned toward me in one slow, creaking motion. Her mouth formed something like a smile, but way too wide, way too stretched. She whispered, "You were meant to come tonight." All the hairs on my arm stood up. Adam shouted, "Get away from the car." He locked all the doors and windows, but both the man and the woman placed their hands on the car roof. Not to hurt us, not to break in, just placing their palms flat on it. And then, the car began to shake, not violently at first, just slightly, like something huge was pushing down on it. Adam shouted again, "Lawrence, call the police." I grabbed my phone, but I had no service. My phone displayed one line, "Network blocked, blocked." I'd never seen that before. Adam checked his phone. Same message. We were trapped. The two people, if they even were people, kept their hands on the roof while staring directly into the car windows, neither blinking, neither speaking. The shaking got stronger. Adam screamed and hit the horn. It made a loud, awful noise. And instantly, the two strangers jerked their heads toward the sound in the most unnatural motion I've ever seen. Both at the exact same time. Like a programmed response, their hands lifted off the car roof. And they stepped back. Not walked, stepped, perfectly synchronized. Then the man said, "You are not ready yet." And the woman followed, "But you will be." They walked back to their red sedan, got inside. The car turned on, but it didn't make an engine sound. It just moved, silently, like it was gliding. They drove past us, down the hill, without headlights on. And within seconds, their car disappeared into the darkness. The moment they vanished, our car engine started on its own, just turned on. Keys still in Adam's hand. Cell service returned. My phone buzzed with old notifications. Adam drove off that hill faster than I've ever seen him drive. Neither of us spoke the whole drive home. We called the police the next morning. They went up the hill, checked the area. Nothing. No footprints. No tire tracks. No signs another car was ever there. They told us. Probably another couple messing with you. But what couple moves like that? Talks like that? Shakes a car with one hand. Appears and disappears without sound. And why did our phone say network blocked? We didn't go back to that hill again. But 2 months later, something else happened. I was walking to my car after work, alone. It was around 8 p.m. I unlocked my car and opened the driver's door. Something slipped off the roof and fell to the ground. I looked down. It was a red envelope. No writing, no stamp. Just a red paper envelope. My stomach dropped. I opened it with shaking hands. Inside was a single piece of black paper, and written in white ink were 4 words. You are ready now. Nothing else. No signature. No explanation. Just that message. I immediately looked around the parking lot, but there was no one there. Just cars. Streetlights. Darkness. I called Adam right away. He told me to get home immediately. We both agreed not to go out at night anymore. Not for dinners. Not for movies. Not for Valentine's Day. Never again. To this day, I don't know what they wanted or what they meant by ready. But every Valentine's Day since then, at exactly midnight, I receive a text from a blocked number, always the same message. We are waiting. I don't respond. I don't look outside. I don't open the door. But sometimes, late at night, I see a red sedan parked across the street, engine off, headlights off, and 2 silhouettes sitting perfectly still in the front seats, watching my house. Every single year. Story 3. The Secret Admirer Who Knew Too Much. My name is Daniel, and this happened to me 3 years ago, on Valentine's Day. I've always been an introvert, not the type of guy who gets a lot of attention, especially not romantic attention. So when I started receiving strange Valentine's gifts every year from an anonymous admirer, I honestly thought it was a prank. But the truth behind those gifts, the real reason someone was watching me, was much darker than any prank. And the last gift I ever received nearly got me killed. It started small. When I was 22, I woke up on Valentine's morning and found a single pink envelope taped to my apartment door. No name, no message on the outside. I opened it and found a simple note that read, "You deserve to be loved." Harmless, almost sweet. I figured someone was leaving random Valentine's notes around the building. I didn't think much about it, but then the next year came, and it escalated. Year 2, the gifts became personal. That second Valentine's, I found another envelope, but this time it wasn't taped to my door. It was inside my apartment, placed neatly on my desk. My apartment door had been locked. I lived alone. No one had a key except me and the landlord. The note inside this one said, "I love the way you laugh when you're watching YouTube." The problem? I only watched YouTube on my laptop, alone, at night, with headphones on. No one should have heard me. No one should have known. I checked the entire apartment, closets, bathroom, under the bed. Nothing. Still, I convinced myself there had to be a logical explanation. Maybe a friend messing with me. Maybe the landlord had come in and seen me laughing at something. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Year 3, the year everything went horribly wrong. February rolled around again. I told myself I wasn't going to think about it. I wasn't going to expect anything. But this year, the gift didn't come in the morning. It came at 11:58 p.m. on February 13th, just 2 minutes before Valentine's Day. I heard something slide under my front door, a soft, slow drag. I froze. I walked to the door, and there it was, a dark red envelope, thicker than the previous ones, heavier. I picked it up and immediately noticed one thing. It was warm, like someone had been holding it tightly in their hand. I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter, long, messy handwriting, like someone was writing and completing. The first line said, "I watch you every day." My hands started shaking. I kept reading. "I know when you wake up. I know when you shower. I know when you leave the house. I know when you come back. I know what you eat. I know when you talk to your mother. I know when you cry in bed at night." My stomach dropped. But the next paragraph was worse. "You don't see me, but I see you. Every night, from the trees." The trees? My apartment overlooked a small wooded area behind the building, but the woods were at least 50 feet away. Who the hell could be watching me from there without me noticing? I checked the rest of the letter. The last line said, "Tomorrow night, I will introduce myself. Wear something nice." My heart felt like it was going to punch a hole through my chest. This wasn't harmless anymore. This wasn't sweet. This was obsession. This was stalking. This was dangerous. I called the police. 2 officers came by. I showed them the letter. They told me it was disturbing, but unless the person made a direct threat or I had more evidence, there wasn't much they could do. They recommended I stay with a friend for the night, but I didn't really have close friends. My family lived too far away to drive at midnight, so I locked the doors, closed every curtain, kept every light on, and didn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Every creak, every tap, every gust of wind. At 3:41 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Why did you call the police?" I dropped the phone. My heart stopped. I hadn't posted anything, hadn't told anyone except the 2 officers. How did this person know? I turned off the lights, crawled to the window, and peeked through the blinds toward the wooded area. And that's when I saw it. A figure, standing between the trees, tall, still, facing my apartment, watching. February 14th, the night they came inside. I didn't leave the apartment the entire day. I kept the curtains closed. I kept the doors locked. But night came anyway, and as soon as it got dark, the knocking began. Soft knocks, not on the door, on my bedroom window. 3 slow taps. Tap, tap, tap. I froze in place, didn't breathe, didn't move. Then a voice whispered through the glass, "Daniel, open the curtains." I almost threw up. It was a woman's voice, soft, gentle, but wrong. Too close to the glass, too calm. I didn't move. She knocked again. "Let me see you. It's Valentine's Day." I backed away slowly, but my foot hit the corner of my mattress. The movement must have been visible through the curtains because she began tapping faster, like she was getting excited. "There you are. I see your shadow." I ran. I slipped out of the bedroom, slammed the door, grabbed my phone, and dialed 911 with shaking fingers. Before the operator could finish saying hello, I heard a soft click, the sound of my front door unlocking. Someone had a key. Someone was inside. I hid in the bathroom, locked the door, turned off the lights, covered my mouth and tried to stay silent. I could hear footsteps outside the bathroom, slow, barefoot, dragging across the carpet. Then a voice. "Daniel, don't hide. You knew this day was coming." It was the same woman's voice, and she sounded like she was smiling. I heard her walk into my bedroom. Then I heard her open my closet. She giggled. Then she whispered, "You kept everything so clean for me." I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I waited and waited for minutes, or maybe hours. I don't know. But then the bathroom doorknob started to turn. Slowly, silently. I pressed my back against the opposite wall, my whole body shaking. The knob kept twisting. Then it stopped. Footsteps again. This time going toward the front door. I heard it open. Then close. Then silence. Total silence. The police arrived 20 minutes later, but she was gone. They found something though. Not inside the apartment. Outside, on the small balcony connected to my bedroom, the officers found a chair placed directly at the sliding glass door, facing into my bedroom. There were indentations on the cushion, as if someone had been sitting there for hours, watching me sleep every night. Next to the chair, on the balcony floor, they found a rose petal trail that led up to the railing and then ended abruptly, like the person had climbed down and disappeared. They dusted for fingerprints. Nothing. They checked security cameras. Nothing. They canvassed the area. Nothing. It was like she never existed. I moved out the next day. I changed my phone number. I changed jobs. I moved 2 towns over. For months, nothing happened. No texts. No letters. No knocks. I finally started to sleep again. I finally started to feel safe. Until last Valentine's Day. I woke up and stepped outside my new house. On the doorstep was a small pink envelope. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a single sentence. "I found you again, my love." My vision blurred. I dropped the card. I looked around my quiet neighborhood and saw nothing. But something was taped to the underside of the envelope, a small folded photograph. When I unfolded it, my heart nearly stopped. It was a photo of me, taken inside my bedroom while I was sleeping. The timestamp, 2 nights before. I had no idea she had been inside. Not again. Not after all this time. I called the police. They checked the house, checked the locks, checked everything. Nothing. No signs of a break-in. No fingerprints. No footprints. No clues. Just a photo, taken inches away from my face as I slept. And now, this year, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. I haven't received anything yet. But last night, I heard footsteps outside my window again. Slow, deliberate. And I know, she's watching me right now, waiting, planning, smiling, and somehow, I can feel it in my bones. Tomorrow, she won't just leave a letter. She won't just take a picture. She won't knock on the window. She's going to come inside again. Only this time. I don't think she plans on leaving, ever. If you enjoyed these 3 scary true Valentine's Day horror stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel, Dark Vision, and turn on the notifications so you'll never miss our next terrifying upload. We post haunting stories, creepy mysteries, and nightmare-inducing encounters every week. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and don't open the door for anyone tonight.